Well, let's see. The temperature is at operating temperature. The AC is on. The battery is charged. Plenty of fuel. Oil pressure's good. Engine's running. But I am fucked, but we are fucking roasting in this damn truck. Signing off. Hey, how y'all doing today? I'd like to welcome y'all to another different version of a come home to the Redpill. I'd like to welcome MGTOW Savior.
What's going on, my brother?
Yeah, well, it's a crazy day. It's a crazy day. You know how that goes.
Man, tell me about it, man. It been crazy, man. It definitely been crazy, brother.
Yep. I'm learning that. I'm relearning that family can do you in the worst, you know.
Tell me about it, man. Tell me about it, bro.
Yeah. Sadly, vicariously through my nephew, and I'm doing what I can to help him out, you know. Like he's grateful for it, but I'm doing what I gotta. I'm doing what should have been done by his dad, you know.
And that's the issue that we suffer in society today. I appreciate you bringing me on today. And, you know, doing this interview because I think it's important because I feel like today men in society have to understand something that's very important. You know, I've been in this MGTOW community, I've been in the Redpill community for about almost 7 years now. And I learned so much. You know, I learned so much. I've been through my ups and downs in this community. You know, I've been through the goods and bads, brother. But one thing in particular that I got to say to you is that in this community, we all we got. You know, when you understand the red pill, we all we got, bro. But the biggest issue I realized over the years is that all my preaching, all my teaching, helping man get through the red pill, come home, helping man, you know, see the realization of female nature, understanding how society don't give a fuck about us as men, how they look at us as men. All of this understanding, all of this helping men made me come to a conclusion after 7 years. And you know what that conclusion is, right?
Society don't give a fuck.
Not just that, but it's going to blow you away. That our biggest problem wasn't women. Out of all my 7 years, our biggest problem is each other. Now, I know that's a twist right there, and I'm gonna tell you something. As you know, bro, we lost a good brother, man, about 1.5 years ago, man.
We lost a lot of people.
We lost a lot of people. We lost a lot of people, but one that came closer than home for all of us was Renegade, man, Sean, man,
and it took me a while to understand, but I can't really fault him.
Man, I'm telling you, bro. It's so deep, man. When we talk about Sean, it's crazy because when I talk about his life, it goes back to what I'm preaching about the issue men have with each other. Right now, I'm working on stuff behind the scenes. I haven't made a video yet on my channel in a while, and I will be coming back soon. But I've been working behind the scenes on working with men, building a better relationship with each other, man. Building an organization behind the scenes with brothers, because the biggest issue we do suffer, and I'm gonna go back to the Sean situation because this is relatable, is that what Sean told me. But you know me, I always been trying to work with men.
Yeah,
hey, man, you've been knowing me for almost about 5 years, brother.
You literally put your name, you put your number out there, you know.
Man,
you went, like I said, you did what a lot of other people weren't willing to do.
And out of all these 5 years, bro, of working with men, when I was the first thing I was doing with the Red Pill lifestyle, man. That was one of the first projects we was working on, and most all the brothers left. And Renegade, we had a conversation, Sean, and he was talking to me. He was like, "Man, you can't deal with other dudes." I think it was about a year and a half before he passed, and he was telling me how you got to give up on them, man. You can't work with other dudes, man. Don't give a fuck about each other, man. And he was working on something
He's
behind the
right.
scenes, and he was, and in a certain capacity. And it's gonna come. I'm gonna bring everything together on this because I want man. I think I want men around the world to understand this. I think this message is so important for men to really listen to, bro. And I think y'all brothers need to very much listen to this shit on why men deal with this issue of self-hatred. I call it self-hatred. It's a psychosis that men deal with, man. And that's why over the 7 years of doing this and working with other brothers, I came to the biggest conclusion about that women wasn't really our main issue. That yes, it was great to go our own way. Yes, it was good to understand, but we still had the biggest hurdle, and it was ourselves. And that's the biggest issue because with Sean, when he told me, he was like, you know what, I want to still work with men. So he told me that, even though I was like, damn, I don't think it's any hope. I was losing hope. He was like, man, don't give a fuck. But he said, I'm gonna do this off grid. I know if you, as you know, Sean was trying to work on the off grid thing before he died, and he was talking about doing that. And around that time, it fell apart for him. Like about, I think about 3 months later, it fell apart. We had one final conversation. I think before he died. Yeah, it was before he died, and we talked. And he had a brother on the phone with me, and he was trying to get dudes to come together and do that. And I guess things just really wasn't working for him. I was starting to hear stuff behind the scenes that things wasn't working for him, and I guess he got to that breaking point, so he realized it was no hope, man, and it wasn't no point. But I'm here today to tell you, brothers, today the hope is within ourselves, but to understand the psychosis, the issue that we are dealing with as men is to understand who taught you to hate yourself. Who taught you to hate yourself? Who taught you to hate your father? Who taught you that other men wasn't shit? Who taught you to put women on this pedestal? Who taught you all of this? And it was your mother, because your mother was the first teacher. And I don't give a fuck how much people don't like that shit. It's because it's so important. Because as a boy, you was growing up not seeing your father. And your mother was telling you that your father wasn't shit, that he abandoned you, that he hated you, but never understood the man's side. And you grew up all your life thinking that other men wasn't shit, that you hated other men. So yeah, it was good helping men going their own way, but all you doing is helping another bastard who hate himself. Because we're a bunch of
And
bastards. We're a bunch of bastards. And I gotta speak
well,
about that.
yeah, from
We're a bunch of
that,
bastards.
I mean, that's one side of the story. I was lucky. I was lucky. I consider myself really lucky, you know, that the people who grew up without their father, I actually feel bad for because they didn't have, first things foremost, they didn't have their father there to teach them important lessons like how to shave, how to tie a tie, how to interact with with people, you know, and I could try, but how to interact with other men, how men do things, how men operate. There are people out there that are still struggling that I literally have had to teach how to drive, you know. That thing is usually taught by the father, but sometimes the fathers are like two nervous people behind in a car is not effective, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
Like, and to teach them how to teach men how to shave, you know, teach men basic hygiene, you know,
Absolutely.
and and it's like I'm a like I was lucky. Like even though I live with I live with my sister because we both had the same upbringing with men, with our mother and our father in the same household. We got lucky, extremely lucky when it comes to having a healthy relationship with our father. You know, yeah, of course, not everybody's perfect, but guess what? We at least had that. You know, we at least had that growing up. I at least have a blueprint, although I didn't follow it. That's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons that I had to go my own way, is to basically reflect on that blueprint. I'm not like and realize that it is that I had to basically. I'm still reflecting on a blueprint. Now could have basically I could have basically went whatever and basically went in, but I had at least had my father in my life. You know, I at
Right.
least had my father. I feel bad for the people who didn't because there's a lot of lessons that they didn't learn. Now, me, I'm good. Like I said, I screwed up a lot. You know, like I said,
But
I will
see,
admit that I screwed up.
can I tell you some of the realest shit?
Yeah,
Regardless of a man had his father in his life, the man was never able to be a man anyway. Um, See, we have to look at the system. We have to look at all of the laws that prohibits a man in an unhealthy environment to be a man, to truly lead his household, to guide that woman. You can't guide a woman when you have a whole corrupt system that is
yeah,
putting laws against you guiding that woman. So when you have this type of system, men growing up lack something. He lacked
that's
that
yeah,
masculinity. He lacked that leadership. He lacked that ability to work with other men, the
right.
camaraderie, and he lacked
But
that
you got it.
ability to build with others and grow through economics with others. Now, a great example is the manosphere and men today. I have
Yep.
dealt with, as you know, I dealt with thousands of brothers, man, and I can tell you from 7 years of doing this now, um, that I realized that I was dealing with brothers going their own way, my brothers who I love, and I'm thankful for this community. Don't get it twisted. So I'm thankful for what this community did. It saved my life. It gave me a second chance. But I also understand after 7 years of being in this community that men have a lot of self hatred. That men only want to talk about the women, but not talk about the true issue. And
Which
what
is
is that true
ourselves.
issue? Ourselves and
Ourselves.
working with each other, self-hate
Yeah.
and being and that's a big issue, brother. And after doing these things, look, check this out. As you know, I got the come home to the red pill um channel, right? And I got a few brothers, all the brothers, my day ones, you and the rest of the brothers, my loyal brothers who've been here with me since day one. And them the only people, and I got all these subscribers who care to want to tell their story to help others. And that right there, that's when I knew there was an issue. I knew that men really don't give a fuck about each other. And when I look at the
I
manosphere,
might have brought it
I look,
in and I didn't know.
you know what I'm saying? But it's sad. It's sad.
Like,
It's so sad. Go ahead, bro.
yeah, the thing is like we're taught, like I said, we're not taught to look for the scraps, to try to scrap piece things together as well. You know, we also got to take it upon ourselves to look for other examples of being a healthy man. You know, we got to take it up. We also got to take it upon ourselves. You know, I think did I put it in the fridge? But we also got to take it upon ourselves to look for to look for ways to be healthy. mentally healthy, not just physically, because people only focus on being physically healthy, not mentally healthy.
Right.
And when you're only focusing on being physically healthy, that leaves you weak, and eventually it's going to bite at your it's going to rear its ugly head, like as in things like as we've
And,
seen in the manosphere. We lost. Well, I wouldn't call Sean mentally weak, but he was tired.
he was
He was
tired.
he was mentally tired.
He
He was
was.
mentally tired, and I when he took his life, you know, he was
Um,
exhausted.
he definitely was, bro. I mean, I cried, man. I was devastated. And the thing is, man, when you living in an unhealthy environment, bro, you tired. You do get tired. You get tired of the self hatred that men,
Portray
you
upon
know,
himself.
put they put upon themselves. But the thing is, it's not only that. It's so much like jealousy towards each other, and that is a
Yeah,
feminine trait we get from our mothers without having fathers. And so you have a lot of that. So
yeah.
you look at the manosphere today, everybody is trying to sell something, offer something, but they're not trying to work with other men. They're not trying to build better relationships with other men or build something with other men. They're trying to capitalize off other men. Yeah, it's great to make money, but if y'all just making money and not building anything with each other, what's the fucking point? I have now decided to work on other things. And now the things that I'm working on is this organization I'm working on building with a few brothers we have. It's the brotherhood. It's called the brotherhood. And what we doing is working with others to build better relationships with each other, working with others to be able to. We have rules, and those rules that we live by when it comes to respecting each other, honoring our word. If we tell somebody we're gonna do something, we do it. If one of our brothers falling, we gotta be there for each other. That goes for the both of us. Everybody that's in this, we gotta work on building better relationships with each other. That's our focus. Fuck the women.
Well,
Fuck
we
the
got
women. The fucking women. We already know this. We've been preaching this women shit for 7 years. It
we
ain't
just
getting us
now start.
nowhere.
But we
We got to
just now
work on it.
started preaching about men. The thing is like
Yeah,
one of the things we got to build a relationship is with ourselves,
exactly,
is
man.
dealing with ourselves. You
Exactly.
know,
This. Exactly.
like seeing
Exactly.
the thing
We
is like
have to.
first things foremost, you've got to unfornicate yourself. You
Man,
know,
preach, bro.
and you don't have to like I had to unfornicate myself without the therapist because therapists first things foremost, therapists don't give therapists don't care. I know this. You know this. I'm not wasting my money on somebody who don't care, you know, who just basically says, oh, 30 minutes, come back in 30 minutes, or come back next week for another 30-minute session of absolutely piss all, you know, absolutely
Exactly.
getting nothing, getting to the bottom of absolutely nothing,
You
you know.
see, once men, because let me tell you the biggest issue we suffer through: confidence and self-esteem. We never was told our worth as men. We never had somebody tell us not to deal with no single mothers. We never had somebody tell us not to deal with a woman who disrespecting us. We never had nobody tell us about our worth as men. So we deal with anything. We deal with whatever. We deal with a woman with 3 kids, 4 kids, 5 kids. If she look good, that's it. All we think about is she look good. All we think about is what the next nigga got instead of building with your brothers. All we thinking about is outshining your brothers instead of shining with your brothers.
Instead of
That's
getting,
all we ever think about is what you I don't want to hurt this brother because I want to be better than this brother.
we also don't
All we
think
ever
about how to
think
build
about
ourselves. We don't think about building ourselves up
exactly,
to the point to where we can actually help somebody else out. There's the thing is
exactly.
like just help yourself out first,
Mm,
because if your legs are broken and this dude's legs are broken, Well, what you gonna do? Walk, help each other with your arms?
Exactly.
You ain't like like literally. You can't help anybody if you're both your important limbs are broken. You know, it ain't doing piss off and Polly.
It's man, I mean, brother, you preaching, man, because that is we have to start working on our confidence, our self-esteem, learning how to respect other men. We don't have that. The first thing we see when we see another brother, we see an enemy,
You
not your
know,
brother. And that's not
I'm
that's not a good way to look at other men.
here's now. Back then, with the time period I'm about to express to you, is about the 1940s, 1950s. Men were different back then, and I'm gonna tell you explain why. Men did not yet, did not. Many men did not have to yell. You know why?
Talk to me, bro.
They were typically silent, but when they spoke, their words carried power and weight. They were soft spoken, but their words carried weight. Today, it's just today. Honestly, I will honestly say that I am one of them. The words of a man does not mean anything. I mean, I will do my best to do right by people. Everybody, doesn't matter who you are. But eventually, I'm going to get spread thin. You know, I'm going to get spread thin eventually. It's only a matter of time. You know, and for
Exactly,
me,
man.
it's like it's the nature of the beast, and especially in these current times where men have been so denigrated, especially especially believe it or not, in the red pill. You see the beefs going on between content creators and the red pill.
It's out of control. All they
It's
know
out
how
of
to do
control.
is hate each other. That's it.
Right. They haven't figured out how to care. And for me, the only reason I have a problem with somebody is for a valid reason. Is because the person did something and won't admit it, making men look like trash. You know, dragging the red pill MGTOW or what to the in the, on the across the dirt. Like me, I don't I'm not a fan of pickup artists. I know they started the red pill or whatever, but I'm not a fan of them. But because of what they're doing right now. They're literally signing young men to their demises.
And see, I'm gonna tell you something. Now, this is a good point that we on the pickup artist. I gotta be honest with people. They have this stigma on the MGTOW community that we can't get women. That's why we went our own way. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I never had an issue. Maybe when I was in high school, maybe that a little bit issue, but I never had no issue with a woman. I never needed a pickup artist to get no woman. I was actually married. Um, I never had those type of issues getting a woman. So when I heard about these pickup artists, I was like, I never understood it. But now, after 7 years, I understand it now. I mean, you have no dad. You don't know how to communicate. You don't understand your value as a man. So if you don't understand your value, you already taught by your mother that the woman is a queen, a goddess, that she uphold this esteem more than you. But
Man,
they come
yeah,
abundant. Women come abundant. She offer you what? What do she offer compared to what you offer?
the thing
That
is,
God created. It's like 3 to 1 when it comes to women.
mm,
Why do men have such low self-esteem when it comes to women? And that's
because
that's my my
because
my biggest. Go ahead, bro.
because growing up, women they're growing up, women were in their with the women in their lives. Whether some of them some of them were the family, some of them were just their peers. And for me, prime example, in elementary school, middle school, high school, First things foremost, kids are cruel. Many kids are not taught to treat people as they want to be treated, and that carries on into their adult lives. So when a boy goes to try to interact with a girl, she's you know how kids are harsh. She's very harsh, and in some cases, the parents were basically told that boys are not to be playing with girls, and vice versa. In many cases, one of those, I guess, the Puritan parents, and instead of basically allowing them to play together to try to learn how to be healthy members of society, they segregate them, you know, to try to instead of trying to learn off of each other, they segregate them.
And this
Now,
is the dilemma right
but
there.
by all means, I am not a father. I am not a father. I the only thing I could be is an uncle, you know, but I'm not a father. You know, I don't see myself at any time becoming a father. Now, I don't know. I don't know if you spent time with people from the Middle East in the Middle East. The people in the Middle East will say that they've been to America. There are plenty of women, but there are very few wives.
Mm,
There are plenty of women, but very few wives.
making a good point there. But it makes sense though. The resentment, it goes both ways. See, the resentment, see,
Exactly.
men hate men and women hate men. So you get into a relationship with a woman and society tells you to put her first. So how do this work? You are putting her first and she putting herself first. Well, who the hell gonna look out for you?
You can't. This ain't shake and
You
bake
a
by Rick.
joke. You a chump.
This ain't Talladega Nights. I can tell you that much.
Exactly. You a chump. That's what you is to her. That's just the reality of it because at the end of the day, nobody out here looking out for you. See, the woman got
Basically,
enough common sense to look out for herself. It's you, as us as men, that ain't got enough common sense to look out for us. And men have to
no.
start having a new ideology of looking out for each other first. A new ideology of
Men have
understanding.
to have a new mindset, a
Exactly.
brand new mindset to
A
look
brand new.
after number
They
one.
have to. Have to.
And it's like the thing is like I would like I said, I don't know if you've seen those old country western television shows or movies. There's a scene that I'm trying to remember. I don't know the name of the country western. There's a scene that illustrates the difference between women and men now and women and men on the frontier days before the advent of the automobile. That scene is where the scene is the husband's coming back from the fields after being threatened by banditos and or and he manages to chase them off, but he continue on with his work. But that threat weighs on his mind, and he cuts himself on putting up a barbed wire fence. He comes to the house with his bleeding cut, and his wife cleans the cut, and despite him saying he's fine, it's just a scratch. So she clean and basically she puts her foot down. It's my job to look after. It's my job. That was the scene. That is the definition. That's the difference between women during the frontier days and today. Very few, very few are going to look after the person that is going to look after the person they're supposed to care about. Basically, if I were to be married and literally be bleeding, I would literally have to. Instead of basically being able to come home, I would literally have to look after it myself. You know, that's the thing
Absolutely.
that's the difference. And now it used to be a time where I don't know, they might have actually did care, or it's because of survival. Either way, we're not going back to that.
Never.
We're never going
It's
to go
not
back
gonna
to that.
happen. All the
And with the
dudes, all the men that want women to change and hoping that it's gonna blow over, it's never gonna change. Don't
hold
look
your
for
breath,
it.
you can
Don't.
crap in one hand and wish in the other, and tell me which one fills up faster.
The only thing you need to focus on is building with your brothers and focus on self, putting self first, putting us as men first. Put men first. Men need to be first, not women.
They
That
got they're
shit,
coming.
no,
They're good.
they're
They'll be
good. They're
good.
good.
They're
You
good.
gotta learn.
They'll be taken care. They'll be looked after. You
We
know,
must be.
they'll be fine. Like
We must.
for yeah, prime example.
We go ahead, bro.
Can you go out your house with $20, go to a bar and get $100 worth of liquor?
No.
Exactly.
Yes. I
Exactly.
mean, men have to re-educate their mind in the old mindset. You have to create a new education and understand that you must put yourself first. You must put yourself first and work with others and work with building better relationships through networking with other men who have the same mindset as you. You cannot, and I repeat this, you cannot work with people or women who only look out for themselves. It never works. It will never ever work. Working with women that look out for self, that's why your life always in turmoil. Because you keep on looking out for people who not looking out for you. You must be able to be around people who understand. See, me and you on this podcast today, we both understand that we suffer through this system. We both understand in this society, nobody give a damn about us. We both
Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
in
We
society
suffer more.
that we cannot make mistakes. That if
Right?
we make a mistake, our whole life can end.
Yeah.
A woman can make all the mistakes. She got Section 8, government housing, all the benefits from the government, and she got a man to save her. Because we got a lot of self-hating men because there was one guy who called, I mean, it was a brother who we talked. And he said, man, can I tell you something? I said, what is it? He said, I do not know how to be responsible. I said, what was your father? He said, my father wasn't in my life. I had a stepdad, but he never taught me nothing.
Exactly.
This is the problem right there. That is the fucking issue. Excuse my French, bro.
The
I do not speak with
situation,
passion.
the thing is like the situation is, I want you to look at the prison statistics. Who's in the prison? They build these supermax prisons, and the majority of the people in the supermax prisons are men.
Exactly.
Women get to go when the women in prison get to go out and garden. They actually get to garden. They actually get to see the sunlight. They actually get to do things, do activities. Men are in jail making license plate candles and all this other things for the work program. Getting having to buy ramen noodles at astronomical prices. Like just one packet is supposed would cost like 25, 50 cents out here. It costs $1.50 in prison or some sort of
Come
ridiculous
on, man.
commentary.
That's the new slave trade for men through this system. Men are
It works.
slaves in this system.
It works. Yeah, it works. And it's
So
working like a charm.
the solution, they talk about escaping from the matrix, get this money. No, the solution
No,
is escaping from the system. It's working with others that's like-minded and getting the fuck away and putting yourself first. Putting yourself first.
one
Putting
of the
brothers
things,
first. Working with other men. That's
one
your
of the
way
things,
out.
yeah. One of the things I see is I have a passport, you know. I do have a passport. You know, this because like I know my chances are with that passport of finding it are slim to none. But I didn't get a passport for that. I got a passport to hopefully do my job in a wider area.
Preach,
To do
brother.
my job in a wider area. Like if they need somebody to cross the border into Canada or to Mexico, I got my passport to do such a thing. And the thing is like it's a little different. It's a little different. Like as I said, can't go out the house with $20. That $20 is going to be gone first time you go to spend it, you know? And it's like that we're running on an outdated pamphlet or outdated book. Now through the years, the pages were ripped out of the things that are not necessary in society. Like
Absolutely.
we were taught. Like I said, you did you grow up with a father?
Yes, I had my dad when I was young. I was privileged. I was blessed to have my dad, but he passed when I was very young, 14. But I did get him in my life when I was around 9 years old,
Right.
and he
But
passed
the
all the way up
thing,
till I was 14. But I understood what my father taught me through the little amount of time I had him in my life. Well, my father taught me responsibility, um, taking care of your chores, making sure you're responsible, and
making
that from
sure
that
you
little time it taught me how to be responsible when it comes to in my living, being responsible and taking care of my responsibilities in my home, money response. It just it taught me to be responsible, but I still was missing things because my
now
dad dealt with the system just like majority of men have.
now
And
yeah.
go ahead, bro.
Did you have? I mean, I was lucky to have them in my entire life. You know, me and my sister were both lucky to have them our entire life. You know, even I remember. I mean, the time. I mean, his death when I was 20 years old, it did hit me pretty hard. And I won't lie, it did hit me hard because that was the man that taught me a lot of things that I forgot, that a lot of which I forgot. You know, most of it due to the time, most of it doing the due to most of it was a lot of it was reinforced by me being in when I was in the military. A lot of it was lost because the military lifestyle. It was reinforced, but a lot was lost. And growing up, that meant a lot. That meant a lot. Like for me, like I would like said, I mean, honestly, I wish I could have gone fishing with him. Like said, he took me fishing, took me and my sister fishing. Sister doesn't like fishing. I do. I carry a fishing rod everywhere I go. But the thing is, like the lessons you learn from him will are reinforced as you do them. You know.
Exactly. And that's the importance of a man that has been lost and is being lost in this society. And the fact that men have all this hatred towards each other and always trying to capitalize, making money off men, or either trying to go against them and go with the woman to try to make as much money instead of working with brothers. Working with just
Hey,
if you just work with the small amount of brothers that's in your circle, you'll find some success. But instead, we try to find any way just to look out for self. And we have the same mindset that your mother's had when she was looking out for herself. And then you got that same damn mindset you implementing that mindset against your own brothers and trying to find any way to win. Look at the manosphere. Look at all the beefs and
oh,
turmoil that's going on in the
oh yeah.
manosphere right now.
Well, like
All
I
of the
said, listen.
infight.
First things foremost, I'm gonna say this thing. These are these quote unquote, like, first things foremost. I'm gonna say I said this once before, and I'm gonna say it again. Alphas are first in line to get shot,
Go ahead.
stabbed, diseased, poisoned. They're first in line, and it goes down the chain of the hierarchy. until it gets to either sigma or zeta, and now guess what? There's no one else willing to get shot, stabbed, diseased, or poisoned. You know, because everybody else has seen, the remaining few has seen what happened to everybody else, and they're not going to put themselves in that situation. You know, they said, I'm not going to be first in line for this. I'm going to let this person do it for me because he's not going to listen to me. So,
And that's you see how it goes.
oh yeah,
And so, I'm gonna have to be ending this soon. I gotta run
already.
some errands. But I want to appreciate you for letting me do this interview, because this interview was very important for you interviewing me, because men need to understand that the women is not your issue at this point in time right now. Your
So the
issue
men,
is each other. Your issue is respecting each other, working with each other, building with each other, understanding that, man, we are two brothers of the same struggle, and we suffer from this oppressive system that is against us, that want to take our money, want to take our children, want to take whatever we have, put us in jail, want us dead. We got to understand that we are two brothers in the same struggle.
and
We got to
before y'all
stop.
and
We
before
got
y'all
to
get up here
go ahead,
talking
bro.
about race, it's every man.
Exactly. Every man.
Every man.
Man,
We
bro.
are literally our worst enemy.
Let me tell you something. I got to say this. When during COVID, I was homeless. I had went through some issues, and one of my brothers by the name of Steve, man, he was there. He helped me. He made sure I got on my feet. Got me a hotel. I was able to get back on my feet, because during COVID, a lot of people got laid off, had some hard times personally, and he had my back. And man, and he told me, he was like, brother, you didn't save my life. You saved my life. That's the least I could do, is be there for you. We are brothers. And I tell you what, man, we are brothers, definitely, man. No matter what he go through in life, I got his back. And he went through some things, and I had his back, man. We have each other back through camaraderie. It's same thing when you in the military. You got your brother back, and he got yours. And y'all are two brothers as comrades in this war, man. And that's how we
And
should be as men.
many men have to go through sadly have to go through a humbling experience before
Go
they
ahead,
learn.
bro.
And many
Man, I'm
men have to
telling
go through a humbling experience in order to get through it. And a lot not and a lot and through those humbling experiences, a lot of men are not going to make it out of it
I'm telling I'm
alive.
telling you, bro. I'm telling you. And the thing is, I got to mention another brother, man. Larry.
Yeah.
That was another brother that had my back, man. And so I want brothers to understand that if you start building relationships with your brothers, it pays off. It pays off at the end. But you got to learn how to have that self love for each other, man. We got to stop with the self hate. I know your mother told you to hate your father. I know you have resentment towards man because you resented your father. I know you grew up a bastard like a lot of us. But we got to understand, we ain't got to be what society wants us to be. We can be the change, and it starts with us. I want to thank you, Midtown Lewin, for
Hey, it's no
interviewing me,
problem.
bro.
Hey, it's no problem. I mean, like I said, this is like I said, we gotta show, like at this point, a lot of us have to start showing prime examples on how to be better, not only for ourselves, but the people we're actually trying to help. You know, now I know I come off as grading on my channel still, but I have a firm belief that sometimes steel has to start sharpen steel. You know, you can't, and it's I come off as a monster. I come off as crass, very crass, especially the people that are dishonest. You know,
That's so
especially the
true,
people
man.
that are dishonest. If you can't please, all I think is like you piss on my leg and tell me it's raining, guess what? I'm gonna be a complete jerk, you know?
That's it. You can't trust them.
Right.
That's it,
But
brother. But
I mean,
I want to thank you, my brother, man, for you interviewing me, man. I want brothers to understand this message and understand you. We got to focus on ourselves. Fuck the women.
right,
You know, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. They're not gonna stop. It's the golden age. They're gonna be working their ass off for the bag, doing whatever it takes, and using the system to get it. It's not gonna change. Just change
right,
yourself. Change yourself and work with your brothers.
right. But I'd like to thank D Man, Meatbag, Spider 32, JR, Vedic Ghost, also known as Tico Trent. I'd like to thank Silver Bullet, Crime Ruler. I'm not the one that blocked the person. You have to consult with the person that blocked them, you know. And I'd like to thank RP Pope, Successful Endeavors, Billy the Goat for being here, and anybody that I missed, and anybody that jumped in and out of the stream. It's been a quick 45-minute or 47-minute, 50-minute stream that I'm glad we had.
Important, brother. This is the important message, man. Thank you,
Like to
Midtown and the win, brother. We go way
no
back,
problem.
man. And you know
Okay,
I got your back to the end, bro. We're family, we brothers, though. In this war, we are comrades in war.
10-4.
All right, my brother.
All right. Like I said, I'm gonna do my best Tico Trent impression. Treat yourself right. Treat yourself well. Treat yourself like milk. Do not but spoil yourself. Doesn't matter if you're an Apache attack helicopter or Hilo or a freaking frog or what's that? Well, a jump frog. You got to do better for yourself. I didn't say anything about bag prime ruler. I said talk. To get to the bottom of it. And people and I would appreciate if people like if you stop, like I said, if the person you don't agree with is in the chat, I would appreciate if you don't block them, because let them say their piece. I typically handle it. I typically catch it. I'll literally interrupt a stream in mid sentence to basically set things right. And another thing we need to do is we need to basically not, what's the word I'm looking for? We basically need to not let controversial things get us angry. Like my channel is what it is. It's going to be what it is. But taking up enough of your time. This is Redpill on the win. Signing off. Well, let's see. The temperature is at operating temperature. The AC is on. The battery is charged. Plenty of fuel. Oil pressure's good. Engine's running. But but we are fucking roasting in this damn truck. Signing off.